Hello and welcome to a short video giving some pointers as to how to get signed into the Sims parent app. So first thing that you should receive is an email from school. That school contains an activation code, so if you look on the bottom of the email you'll see the activation code marked down here. Now once you've received that email, the first thing to do is to highlight that invitation code and to copy it. Alternatively, you can write it down exactly as it is with the capitals, because you're going to need that in the next step. So first step is to accept invitation. Once you have pressed on accept invitation, you should see this screen. Now we're going to ignore the username and the invitation code for now, and we are going to press on this button at the bottom, which is register with external account. When we click on register with external account, we see this screen, but again we're going to ignore username and password because we haven't actually registered for the app yet, so the sign in button is also defunct. So here we're going to choose one of these 5 options here to log in with. So in this instance we're going to use Google to log in. There are 5 options here: Apple, Facebook, Google, Microsoft and Twitter. Now, Microsoft also contains Yahoo email addresses, MSN email addresses and a host of other ones that are all part of the Microsoft brand. But for our example we're going to choose Google, so we will press on the Google icon, which will then bring us in to the sign in screen for Google. So here we will enter our email address, which is our Google email address, and our Google email password. Then we press the next button. Once we have pressed that, we see the registration screen for Sims. Your name should be populated here because it will have picked that up from your Google account. It tells us here that we're signing in with Google, and this is where we need to use our invitation code. If you've written it down, you can just put it into the box here now, type it in. If you copied it, then you can right click and paste the invitation code in. So once you've done that, you should see it appearing here in the box, and we're then going to press on the register button. The next stage of the process is to answer a security question. The security question is the date of birth of your child, so we'll enter that in full, and you can see here that you must enter the date followed by a slash, followed by a month and followed by the year. So once you've entered that, as we can see here, 17th to 6th 2006, we'll then press verify. When we press on the verify key, you should then see this screen telling you that your account is being created. There is a little green arrow or a green box that will populate all the way to the end, and that will tell you that your account has been successfully created. Then you should see this message telling you that your account has been successfully logged in and is waiting for your ID. The next screen that you should see is a successful entry into the Sims parent app. In here you should see information about your child. Now if for some reason you have got logged out, you can return to our school website, and if you click on the section Parents or Guardians, a pop-up will appear, and at the bottom of that pop-up, it's hard to read here, but you should see Sims parent app, and in there will be a link to bring you back to that Sims login screen, and also a link to this video. So once you go back into that Sims login screen, it should be a lot simpler this time, because all we should see are the different icons for the addresses that you can log in with. We have chosen Google previously, so when you press on the G for Google, it will then bring you into the same screen again to put in your Google email address and your Google password, and again we should appear back into the Sims parent app screen. Now the vast majority of people will use a smartphone to log into Sims, so the registration process is exactly the same whether you do it on a smartphone or whether you do it on a PC, laptop, etc. But at this point, when we have registered, you can then download the Sims parent app from the Google Play Store or from the App Store, And when you open up the app, you will then see this screen asking you if you have received an invitation from your school and completed registration. Because we have done that, we'll highlight the yes sign in, and when we click on that, it then brings us back into a familiar looking screen to us now, and we will choose the method of which we registered. So we will press on the G for Google, and again it will ask us to enter our Google email address and our Google password, and we will then press next, and all being well, we should appear on the home screen for the Sims Parent app. So that's your registration, and that's how to log into the app once you have registered.